Hi, this is Danielle Staley, and I'm presenting the website I designed for my honors biology class. The focus coming up in the next few weeks will be our gene technology debates. And I'm using this website to help them gain some information initially to start their research then. I'm also using it to give them just information about the grading and the structure of the debates. So if you see, this is my main page, and I have a little introduction to the topic, which is gene technology, and that's the overarching theme. And within that, there are 4 different topics that the students will be on a team to debate. They'll either be on a team about cloning, gene therapy, genetic screening, or genetically modified foods. To start off on this main page, I just wanted to show that there are several buttons at the bottom that provide the documents and links to some important resources for the project. So this first one provides for students just a general description of the project goals, some tentative dates, and then kind of just overall formats for the paragraph that they will be writing, and then the actual debate that they'll be participating in, as well as some of the works cited structure that they should be following in doing their research. The second button is related to the sample paragraph. So each student individually will write a paragraph that basically gives one cost or benefit for their specific topic. So they will need to, within their group of 3 students, come up with the one reason each for the 3 students, and they can't overlap. And then within their paragraph, they're giving that reason for or against their topic. So for example, you could say that genetically modified foods should be banned because they increase the risk of food allergies. Anyway, so this is then a sample paragraph. It's not related to genetics because I don't want to provide any heads up to any certain student. This one is for a previous debate I did with students about whether aquariums and zoos are good or bad. Anyway, but it provides them with some structure, some example to what they should have in their paragraph to earn a strong grade. Next, there's just a link to Noodle Tools Express, so they'll be using MLA citation, and they need to make sure that they follow the right format. So that provides that link, and it pops up here so they can do their citations and their works cited. From there, there's a rubric that basically I will follow to grade the paragraphs individually that they submit, and it just kind of gives the categories that they'll be graded on. Next, I found this neat video that basically provides some tips about debating, and so hopefully before they debate they can watch that and kind of get some information about what makes an effective debate. And then finally, this is the rubric that I'll be using to grade their actual debates, and they debate in groups of 3. And so there'll be 3 that are for genetically modified food, for example, and then 3 that are against genetically modified food, and they get graded as a group based on their debate presentation and their skills and back and forth. Then from there, there are, again, these 4 tabs at the top. So depending on the group, they'll really just be focusing on using one of these tabs. The first one is the cloning. So you can see here, the background has a little visual for embryonic cloning. Anyway, and then there are several links here provided for students. Well, actually, I should say there's a definition here. So our kind of definition, our working definition that we'll use for the debate. So that's for cloning. Then each of these little DNA icons provides a link to give students some information. So this is a Learn Genetics site that's just all about cloning. And then it provides some benefits and harms and some history about cloning as well as some interactives. This site is from the BBC, and basically it kind of gives them some ideas about advantages and disadvantages of cloning, so they could use this to kind of begin their research. This is a link to a kind of a very recent development in cloning with some of the techniques they were struggling with that they use for Dolly cloning. Now they've been able to apply to primates, so that opens up kind of some ethical questions of whether or not we could now do this with humans if we wanted to. So that's kind of a more current. Then finally, this is a New York Times article that talks about some of the risks with cloning and how the cloned animals tend to be not as healthy. Anyway, so that's another source that they could look at to get some ideas. Then I'm hoping from here they do, obviously additional research, but this hopefully will give them some background and some ideas about what their advantages and disadvantages could be. I also am really going to try and hit home that they should be using professional, published, vetted, well-known sources. And so I'm trying to give them some examples of that. So Learn Genetics is a really well-used genetic site, and then the BBC, CNN, New York Times, again, all reputable sources to be citing as opposed to, ones that have not been really vetted real well. Anyway, so moving on, the next topic would be gene therapy. Again, kind of this is our, working definition of gene therapy for use when we're debating. And then this provides links again. So this is a video that basically kind of gives an introduction to what gene therapy is. Then there's some overview, benefits, and limitations here provided by the Mayo Clinic. So again, they can get some ideas about the risks and also the benefits, and also how some of this, the actual gene therapy, we're in the early stages of gene therapy, but how some of it works. That's the Mayo Clinic site. And there's a few others here. Again, Silence Daily, a reputable site, good to use for sources that, have been definitely vetted and researched. Finally, this one kind of links to some of the controversy of gene therapy. There have been some deaths in clinical trials, so it kind of talks about should we go forward or should we, proceed with caution because of some of the repercussions of doing gene therapy trials. Then finally, then next, genetic screening. So again, definition, these are several links to, information, overview, different types of genetic screening, some of the risks and benefits. And then really in this case for the debate, they really do need to have some examples. So there are some examples here linked to NIH, so they could look at what newborns, there are, kind of 30 to 40 screens that they do on newborns. So they could use these to kind of give some specific examples about why screening is important, and how with treatment, we can really avoid some devastating diseases if we've screened and we know that babies have certain disorders. And finally, the genetically modified foods. So for this one, again, the working definition, and then again, links that are giving students just some background information, and then also some of the benefits and risks. And again, this, has some additional kind of some frequently asked questions and facts and misconceptions to kind of help them, learn more about their topic. So when the debate comes up, they can, they have some background information about misconceptions that they could use in the debate. Anyway, so that's the gist of the site. Again, it's kind of a two-part project where they're going to be using this information to do research and create a paragraph, and then ultimately in their groups, they debate back and forth with the other side on their topic to defend their position. Anyway, that is my Gene Technology Debates website. Thanks a lot. Bye.